Welcome back, Mount Shao scientists, to another fun science lesson we have today. In this lesson, we are going to be learning about clouds. What are clouds and how clouds form and how clouds create rain. So first let's talk about water. All the water that exists in the world has always been the same amount of water that always has existed. The water in the oceans, the rivers, the lakes, in the water table under our feet, that's all the water that's ever existed. And it's always in this constant cycle of evaporating, going up into the sky, becoming a cloud, and raining back down. So what is a cloud? Believe it or not, a cloud is mainly just empty space. The actual cloud that you see is because the sunlight is going in and reflecting off of the water molecules and crystals that are inside the cloud. And when it refracts off of that light, all those colors in the rainbow turn white. And when a cloud gets really thick and dense, that's when the light can't get in and reflect off of it as easily, and then it turns gray. But how did all those water molecules and particles and ice crystals get there? So what happens is that, whether it's your ocean or a river or a stream or a lake, and even the trees give off water. When the sun hits that, it causes the water to evaporate, become water vapor. So that's the gas form of water. And what happens is that water vapor is, when the sun heats it up, it's moving really quickly. It's heated up, it's ready to go, and it's got energy. And that energy likes to rise. Heat rises. So you have all that water vapor traveling up into the air, microscopic, teeny tiny, need a microscope to see particles of this vapor. And when it reaches the upper atmosphere, it's a lot cooler up there. There's not the same air pressure as there is down here on the ground. So when it reaches up there, it starts to slow down. All those water molecules start to slow down, and they're looking for other water molecules to kind of join up with, to continue creating that energy. And so eventually they start finding each other, and they start to form little water droplets or ice crystals. Now these water droplets and ice crystals are still very small, very microscopic. And because of that, they're so lightweight that they still float up in the air. Gravity doesn't take over yet. Eventually, though, they'll keep joining each other until they form droplets large enough to fall back down to the earth, where they're too heavy to still exist inside of a cloud. And that is how rain forms. So clouds are really just all those water molecules that have been heated up by the sun in that water vapor, and they're condensing together. They're meeting up, they're joining. All of the hydrogen atoms in the water molecules, H2O, are binding back together with each other to reform back into water. And again, the actual cloud that you see is really just mostly air. It's just those water molecules joining back up. The reason why clouds look so big, again, is because the sun is beating down and it's hitting all of those water molecules all at once. It's going, and it creates the illusion of this large cloud. But again, it's really just air. So how we're going to demonstrate this is, you have in your packet, you have a cup, some shaving cream, some blue food coloring, and a little squeezer plunger. Now, the water in the jar represents the water that is here. You can imagine that water being heated up It's going up, and then you form your cloud. Woo! So you formed your cloud. And then the blue represents the water molecules that are forming inside this cloud. And eventually, it's just become way too heavy, and those water molecules are going to start to go back down. So you can kind of see, the water is starting to turn blue. So just as our cloud, it got too heavy with that water, and it's just too much to handle, and it's starting to rain back down into the oceans, into the streams, the rivers. It's watering the plants. The plants trap the water because they need water to grow, and then when they get heated up, they're releasing water vapor back into the air. So this little model represents the cloud, and the cloud becoming saturated with water, and eventually just rains back down. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson of how clouds form. Make sure to go over the fun information sheet accompanying this packet and enjoy this cool Mountain Shadows science project of the day. Have a good one.